So 2025 has been the roughest year of my life. Yet the most freeing. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Last year, kind of around this time, November-ish, I started to stay in LA with one of my friends whose mother, like a month later after I started staying there, she passed away. I clearly have not processed that one. One second. That happened in December, and it was really fucking sad. And then like 3 weeks later, the LA fires broke out. The Eaton fire was the area in which I was staying with my friend at the time. And at that point, I had nothing left in me. I was scared of everything. I was scared of death. I was scared of death. Yeah, I guess that's it. And I ran away. I drove my car to Arizona, where my ex-boyfriend met me. And then for some reason, I decided that it would be a good idea to go to Oregon because it was maybe closer than going all the way back to my hometown on the East Coast. So from Arizona, my ex and I drove from Arizona to Oregon. At some point, we pulled over to take photos of some mountains and stuff. Got out of our cars, we're taking photos. This guy drove past us and was like, "You guys okay?" We were like, "Yeah, we're good." And he said, "Okay," and he drove away. Cool, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. We kept driving. At this point, my ex starts driving, which was a big deal for me because I'm very anxious and I don't like people driving my stuff or doing things for me. We drive up to the car that had just passed us and said like, "Hey, whatever." And his car like had these big flashing lights, and I don't know. I guess somewhere in my life I thought that the flashing lights meant like go around. So I told my ex to go around. He started to go around, and the guy like rolls down his window and he's like, "Your tires are on fire." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" But I also was like, you know what? That tracks because my life's been so fucking chaotic. Like, of course that would be happening to me right now. So I'm like, okay, I guess pull over. So we pull over. Issue 1, don't pull over on the side of the road ever. Even if your car's on fire, drive to the nearest gas station and pull over. Why would you do that, Danielle? It's okay. We live and we learn, but that's my tip for any young traveler, okay? I thought I knew that tip, but sometimes you just don't remember, okay? So we pull over. My ex gets out of the car. This guy gets out of the car. I stay in the car with the car turned on because I'm like, I don't know about this. Immediately, I'm like, I don't know about this. It would have been one thing if the guy, like, pulled us, or if he said that and then he just kept driving, but he pulled over, and that was weird. So he's like, "Huh, yeah," and he's just weird. He's just giving weird vibes, and I'm like, I don't trust this guy. Immediately, like, talking about this is making my stomach sink to the bottom of the floor. Like, what the fuck? So anyways, so he's like, "Oh, yeah, you're blah, blah, blah," whatever. He says something about the tire. He's like, "I'm gonna go get a tool." So he, like, walks away to his car, and me and my ex are like, and then we're like, okay, and I'm like, but I don't see, anyway, in my head I'm thinking, I don't see anything, nothing's happening, whatever. He comes back, this guy comes back, he doesn't have a tool, like, and sketchy, and then he says, like, turn the car off and get out, and I'm like, uh-oh, and I, like, felt not good at that point, but I was also like, what am I supposed to do? So I did, I listened to him, I had my keys in my hand, and he says, "Come here," and grabs me and my ex and like moves us over here. And then I look over and he has a knife to my ex's neck. And he says, like, "Give me all your money," or whatever he says. I don't know. And I'm like, "We don't have any money." "You don't have any money?" I'm like, "No." You think we have money? Like, it's again funny in hindsight, not funny at the time. And then I'm like, "I think I have like $20. Like, I literally only had $20 cash, maybe. And he's like, "You don't have any money?" Whatever. And then I'm like, "No, like, what are you talking about?" And then he says, "Throw your phones." And I said, "No, please don't do this." And I started crying. I said, please don't do this. Please, please, please. Because I was like, this is not happening. In my head, I was like, this is not happening. Like, it's just not. It's not happening. It's not. There was just enough at that point where I was like, this is just not happening. So he says, throw your phone. I say, no. And then he's like, and he's just like so stressed. He doesn't know what to do. Because I said no to everything. I was like, please don't do this. Please don't do that. We don't have this. I don't know what you're trying to do here, sir. And all I remember was like looking deep in his eyes. And I felt like me begging him to not do it worked. And in that moment, I really did realize how much power we do have. And that doesn't mean go up to a criminal and tell them no. But like, know who the fuck you are. And know your place here on this planet. Because I think it gives us a little bit more confidence than we think. In my head, I just was like, this is not happening. This is not how it happens. This is not how I die. This is not the story I'm telling. This is not, no, it's not happening. So anyways, then he says, okay, run. And he makes us run into the side of the mountain. There's snow. That's what I remember about it. There was snow that we were like trudging through, running. I had my keys still in my hand, my phone still in my hand, my ex still had all his stuff, and we ran away enough, looked back, the guy got in his car and just drove away. He didn't do anything to my car. It's like, it actually is so insane. But like, I screamed on the top of my lungs. I don't know how I didn't break my vocal cords because I was so mad. Oh my God, I was so mad. And I just started screaming and running towards my car, and I got in my car, and I don't know what I thought I was going to do, but something. I was going to do something to him, and we didn't. Obviously, we just drove a little bit to get self-service, called the cops, and then the cops showed up to us, and they ended up finding him, arresting him. They said, said on the tapes or whatever, like the body cam footage, that he was sorry. He said, tell those kids I'm sorry. And yeah, that was that. I guess then we slept at the hotel there in that town, really scared, really just like both traumatized. And then, I mean, we made it to Oregon. We found out later that he was from Oregon, which is like annoying. He like lived in Oregon. So then I was like, oh great, now I'm scared here. Cool, great. Okay, and then, so that's just like, that's a big story about control. This is not supposed to be a big video to tell you how to live your life with control. It is just a example video of what it means to own your power. Because I think this whole year has really taught me that I am the one who owns my life. I make my decisions for me, by me, because of me, and so should you. I think that as vulnerable people, we're very susceptible to abuse, control, manipulation, harm, being naive, you know, like there's something to trusting others, and there's another thing of like standing on your power. I feel like I've gotten better at finding the balance because of this year and because of all of the shit that has been coming out like in the world. I'm just really seeing that like each individual person has more power than they think they do, but we have been trained to believe as a society that we don't have power or control over our own lives or what happens to us. So I guess this is just sort of a video to help you understand that you have more power than you think you do. Even and mostly when it matters the most. What else? I guess I should wrap that story up though by saying he did end up getting arrested. We had to go to court like 6 months later because we were supposed to do it right away. But then he he got off on some, like, he was able to make it, like, whatever. There was a mental health assessment that had to be done, and then they did that, and they realized he's not crazy, he's just bipolar, which doesn't make you stand on the side of the road, probably. He did plead guilty, but mentally ill, and I believe he is going to get 5 years probation. I don't know, 120 days in jail, and then probation for like 5 years with mental health mandated court something. So, like, all in all, it's fine. Just in hindsight, it's crazy that it even happened. If you've gotten to a place in your life where you think what you need to do is control other people to make yourself feel safe, I would just take a step back and try to find a different way to take control. I don't think robbing people at knife point is the right way to gain control. I don't think that exploiting people for money is the right way to do it. I think those who want to control or dominate need to understand what love actually is and what leadership actually is. Okay, I guess that's all. Bye.